You can't start the car. Johnny has the keys.
I'm doing this event in 2 weeks. It's Zoom. And so today I've been working on Zoom and client and everything else. And so when I went to sign in, it didn't even recognize me. And it was going, you have to ask the host to join this meeting. And I said, I am the fucking host. What are you talking about? It was just so weird.
I think I have good lighting. I may be overlit.
All
right. Other things to talk about. So what I was leading up to with that. Oh, he's gone. He's gone. He's gone. Oh, I gotta learn how to face. He's gone. He's gone. Take the devil to replace him. He's gone. He's gone. He's gone. Oh my, what went wrong? I don't know that song. I don't know that song at all. Except I think whistle. I can't whistle.
Oh.
I'm gay.
No.
I was told at a young age that gay people can't whistle.
Ah.
I mean, I can do like a couple of notes to call a dog, and that's it.
It's a litmus test. Hi, you're looking kind of handsome. Whistle for me.
I told you about Gideon's, right?
I know.
It's a bakery in Orlando. Actually, it's on Disney Springs property, and they are phenomenally successful. The concept is a bakery that looks like it was designed by Tim Burton and the people that did the Haunted Mansion.
Oh, okay.
And they have collectible cards and menus that come out like monthly, and I have to get them for Dennis. So that's like my Christmas and birthday scramble, finding things on eBay. And I'm actually sending something to London today because she's going to trade me, because they have trading groups on Facebook.
Yeah.
Like, see this is one of their menus. This is free to color.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, their menus are monthly. And you get one when you order. I order stuff from them direct too. That's why I have this t-shirt. Anyway, love Gideon's. They make decadent cookies that weigh about a half a pound, and they're like $6 a piece. And they're amazing. And they do like a cookie of the month. And they do vegan coffee things like, I don't know, pumpkin chai, peanut butter crap. And they do big cakes too. And there's always a line to get in.
And they're at Disney Springs?
They're at Disney Springs, and they have one other location somewhere else in Orlando, like some other shopping place.
Yeah.
And they have gone off the charts in popularity because of this artist that does their stuff. And I bought Dennis a signed print for Christmas. But we're trying to time an Epcot trip for next spring because he's going to be there. It's an arts festival, and we don't know when, though. So he's like trying to straddle 2 weekends in case it's one of those weekends.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. I can't remember his name. His nickname is Mr. Eyes. Mr. Eyes, because he draws big eyes.
And the big eyes is a Burton thing, too. So
that
makes sense.
And they look like little kids. I'll send you a link to their website just so you can browse and look at some of their artwork. We met a couple from Michigan while we were down there that we're probably going to get together with again. And they do exactly what we do. They go to Gideon's the first day, then they have lunch at Splitsville. And we were having lunch next to them, and they showed us a picture, and they had a freezer entirely filled with Gideon's cookies.
Wow.
And they fly. And I'm like, what do you do? Do you have parties where you eat them? Because that's insane.
That's insane.
I mean, it's hard enough to, I don't know. I couldn't eat their cookies all the time because they're so decadent.
Right.
And yet, I don't know. I just can't imagine freezing them. But guess what? Dennis brought 6 home and froze them.
There you go.
So
And now you can have one for special occasions.
I can.
Sorry.
It's like I want to hear that 60s music in my head where all the singers are going da 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 da, or like the 60s Bossa Nova stuff, or the Sergio Mendes and the Brazil 66, where they like do Beatles songs really fast with like lots of vocals and orchestration. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
I love that shit. When I was a kid, it was like elevator music, but now I just love it. There's this place we eat at, Hollywood Studios. It was closed when we were there the other night, but it's this like tap house where they do charcuterie boards. So you can eat light and have decent beers. And I go there for the beer. Dennis goes there for the charcuterie board. And every time we're there, I'm like Googling or Shazamming the music they're playing, because it's like that crazy ass 60s Brazilian jazz stuff, like bossa nova covers of pop music, like Lady Gaga and Miley Cyrus.
Wow.
But it's like really jazzed out. It sounds like elevator music. I fucking love it. If you subscribe to a music service, just Google like modern bossa nova covers or whatever, and you'll find some of that shit. It's hilarious. I was trying to think the other day. I was like, what is this song? Is that Adele? You know, because you recognize the lyrics, but you don't recognize the orchestration of it because it's changed up. It's just weird. It's very strange.
Well, I was cracking up too because I was on Memory Alpha trying to type in the episode, and I typed it in and it came up as Hamsters of Triskelion.
Oh, wait, they should do, oh my God, they've got to do like a spoof of that and put the little hamsters in little tiny harnesses.
Yeah.
And have them running around with like a stick in their mouth.
That would be too good. Oh my gosh.
The hamsters of Triskelion.
There you go.
Wow. So
Yeah.
I was in the commissary.
Mm-hmm. Hanging out. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was hanging out, just enjoying my Romulan ale. And then Sulu got a little weird on me.
Oh.
He took me to, did you know they opened a sex shop there?
No.
Yeah. They have all kinds of little toys. And he was having me model harnesses and collars for him.
Okay. Yeah.
We may be of the same persuasion, but I'm not really into that. So
To each his own.
there is that.
What happened?
I still like George. He's a good guy. See how I snuck that little Johnny Has the Keys up there?
Wow.
What is with your silent sneeze? That's kind of creepy.
It's an effect of long range COVID. I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
I can smell, but my sneeze has no sound.
That's it. Okay.
I am almost finished with Mandalorian. I've got like 2 episodes left.
Yep.
It's pretty good.
Okay.
I'm curious to see what you think. The stuff they're doing with Grogu, I don't mind. It's kind of funny. Yeah, like I don't think he's on the path of Jedi. Let's just put it that way. I think he's on a different path,
like Sith,
like Mandalorian.
What, they're going to have a little Yoda Mandalorian?
Well, aside from what's going on with the New Republic and potential revival of the Empire, besides that plot, the majority of the plot is dealing with the mythos and the cult or whatever of Mandalorians.
Okay.
So there are scenes where like he's with Mandalorians training and Grogu is with him. So And Grogu, he can defend himself.
Well, he has the Force.
He doesn't fall over and faint now when he does that.
Oh, good. Okay.
But he still coos like a baby and looks like a baby, which is funny. That's why I mean it's funny, because it's like, he's still really little.
Yeah, they definitely went out of their way to say, no, he's not Yoda.
I'm curious what they're going to do with this series with Rosario Dawson, because I really like her.
Oh, as Ahsoka?
Is that her name? Ashoka, maybe?
I think it's Ahsoka Tano. Yeah, I liked her in the episode from last season.
What is that planet that is so populated? You may not know this because you haven't watched Andor.
Coruscant?
Yes, Coruscant. Where did that come from?
That came from the Phantom Menace, came from the reboot series.
Okay, that's why I don't remember it. Okay. Coruscant plays heavily into Andor, and is playing heavily into The Mandalorian this season.
Well, it's essentially the capital of the Galactic Republic.
Yeah, the New Republic. Yeah.
Well, and even the Old Republic, like when Padme went there that's where the Senate is.
Yeah. And they are habilitating former Empire personnel. And of course, that's not taken with some of them.
They are doing what?
Rehabilitating. Like say they took prisoners of war during Return of the Jedi.
Right.
They are rehabilitating, so to speak, and assimilating them into the New Republic as citizens or whatever.
Ah, okay then.
And in most cases, I think people are happy to be there and feel liberated. In other cases, I think they're just spying for something else that's going on.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's where some of the Andor stuff may be coming in. I don't know. Okay. I'm very impressed with what's going on, and they're still doing episodes. Like Bryce Dallas Howard did 2, and one of the ones she did last night was like a Western. I mean, it basically had giant monsters and things in it, like you would see in the original Mandalorian.
Yeah.
So it's not like they're straying too far. They're trying to work it in. They do one story that is completely separated from the Mandalorian story, which is a connection to the Coruscant stuff, but they bookend it with Mando, like an action sequence in the beginning and an action sequence at the end, and then all in between is a totally different story that has nothing to do with him yet.
Oh, okay.
So that way they're bringing in. And another thing I liked about Andor, and I think I told you this, was that instead of being rustic and Western like Mandalorian, this is more on the more civilized sides where people dress nicely and there's cities and things like that and society. And there is some of that. So they're combining the two.
Okay.
But it's not as jarring as when Boba Fett all of a sudden became the Mandalorian. that was jarring to me. Yeah. This is blending better to me.
Okay.
So
I'm liking it.
I'm curious to see what you think. Yeah, it is a little less jarring. Andor is great because there's no jarring at all. It's just 2 separate stories: a bank heist and a prison break.
Yeah, I do need to see
involving the same characters, basically.
I do need to watch it at some point.
I finished George and Tammy,
and getting better.
It's great, but I feel terrible for their child. They had one little girl named Georgette, and I don't think she got any money.
Didn't get any money?
I know. That's what I mean.
Because they didn't have any left?
No, they had it. George remarried, and she was always estranged from him. So even when she reached out to him in the end, or at least if this thing is accurate, I think it's based on a book she wrote, he tried to mend fences, and I don't think either one of them, well, her in particular, really wanted much to do with him anymore. He left her $50,000. he had a lot more money than that, but he was remarried, and I'm sure that money went to that woman and whatever, their family. Tammy was loaded, and she told George that her daughters were going to be well taken care of. She had other kids other than him. And she was going around making her will on like legal pads, and none of those pads ever turned up. And the guy that had her on drugs and that was basically giving her drugs until she died, her new husband, is the one that inherited everything. So it was
Perfect.
like, damn. Yeah. I never knew I'd get so wound up in some country music stars' lives because I am not a country music person. But I feel sorry for that girl because I know Tammy Wynette had a shitload of money. I mean, she was the top selling female singer of all time in her day. Her and Dolly Parton were the first two big female singers to make it in the 60s.
The same thing happened to Nichelle Nichols. Whoever her caregiver was at the end of life was screwing her over and stealing her money and changing her endowments and changing her wills and doing all that.
So her kids
stuff.
didn't get anything.
No, I think it's still actually in probate now. I think there's still some fighting over it because they could prove that the kids and everything have like text messages from him saying, you're never going to get a dime. And then from the shell saying, you'll be taken care of and blah, blah, and all this. So.
Well, I don't know what Tammy was on, but it was apparently something doctors were prescribing. I mean, she was so, I don't know. She had enough pull that she could keep getting doctors to prescribe her whatever it was she was on. But it might as well have been heroin because at the end, he was like shooting her up in the foot and stuff. And she would just pass out, like she was taking heroin. And I'm sure during all of those blackouts, he was going around doctoring things and making sure that that money was going to be left to him. And he died in 2010. And he looked just as sleazy as Steve Zahn, who played him in the thing. And I love Steve Zahn, but he plays some very shady characters. But I've always liked him as an actor. And I was like, ooh, man, you are playing a son of a bitch in this.
Which probably was fun for him.
I'm sure. I'm sure because he's got that, I wouldn't do anything. I'm all for Tammy and George. Why don't y'all get together and do another? Yeah. Uh-huh.
I wouldn't
Make
hurt
me
a
more
fly.
money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, y'all go on tour. I'll be right there with you in the dressing room with your needles.
Sure. Yeah. Everything you need.
This is something you'll find funny. You always talk about, I'll add it to my list. Do you actually have a list? That's not good enough. I mean, if you had a list, it would be much longer than that.
No. Oh, wait. No, my to-do? Hold on.
No. You're movie watching.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a list of what I still have to watch. As a matter of fact, let me find it real quick. Because I keep adding to it. When you mention one, I write it down, then I put it on my big list and hopefully eventually get to it.
I have a big list of horror I made the other day. Just horror, nothing else. That doesn't include like Marvel movies and things that I also want to see. And my list of horror movies is close to 70.
Yep. There are, sadly though, because the other day I had some downtime while I was, doing dishes and doing a bunch of stuff at home. And so I put on Avengers Endgame again, just because I wanted to watch it, just have it on. And they hint at stuff here, movies to watch. Wait, you can't see it because of that. Okay, so movies to watch, and it just goes and goes and goes for days.
I've got it pulled up on my computer.
I think there's at least 70 or 80 on there. Yeah, probably.
I've got it pulled up on my computer, and actually I have it listed under genre topics. And there's, like I said, there's almost 70. Most of them are new, though, because I've seen most old stuff, unless it's foreign. But these are all movies. And most of these movies rank above 80 in Rotten Tomatoes, too.
Well, that got me doing a bunch of, I want to look into it. So I watched a bunch of those assembled that are on Disney, which are really cool behind the scenes of Marvel.
Right.
And then there's a couple of other ones that are out that are actual just huge, huge documentaries about the making of whatever. And Feige's talking about the next phase and the multiverse and yada yada and all this kind of stuff. And I have no interest whatsoever. I'm like, I've missed so much already of what Marvel has put out.
No, you haven't. You just feel like you have because you're overwhelmed. It's not, you haven't missed that much.
Well, I mean, I don't like Ant-Man and Wasp at all. So it took me like 2 years to watch Ant-Man and the Wasp, the sequel, because I didn't like the first one. So I haven't seen Quantumania. I haven't seen Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I don't
think Guardians is even connected to it.
I haven't seen the She-Hulk thing. I haven't seen
She-Hulk if it's connected, it's her character only. They don't talk about multiverses in that series.
Well, even that, I haven't seen the Ms. Marvel series, and that's definitely going to be connected because she's going to be one of the three. And I haven't seen the new Secret Invasion that just started.
I haven't seen Secret Invasion. I want to watch that. But that's more Marvel, Ms. Marvel and Captain Marvel. I think that if it's just like Marvel Comics, you are gonna be overwhelmed, not because of just one subject. You're gonna be overwhelmed because of properties. I think they're grooming She-Hulk for a new Defenders launch. That is what Netflix attempted to do. I think she's gonna be connected to Daredevil and those guys. So you've got that group over there. Then you've got Captain Marvel.
You mean like Iron Fist or Fire Fist or whatever? And what's her name? The girl that solves mysteries.
Yes.
Strong.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Daredevil has already made an appearance on She-Hulk, and his series has been rebooted for 16 episodes. 16 episodes.
Oh, you're talking about the Daredevil, the cool guy. Yeah, he was great. I liked that series.
I think they're going to be in their own little universe. I think that Captain Marvel may make an appearance in an Avengers movie, but I think Captain Marvel and the Skrulls and all that are in their own universe. And honestly, the new Fantastic Four could be there too, because Fantastic Four used to have Skrulls as well. And then I think the Avengers is going to go forward with what we're seeing with Loki and Ant-Man and the new Captain America and that stuff. I think that'll be the Avengers stuff going forward. Now, you may see one of these other characters pop in, but their stories don't really lap, except for Loki, which is coming on soon.
Oh, did you see that's one I was going to tell you. There's one of the great documentaries I watched, and it was like 90 minutes long, but it was on the making of Doctor Strange 2, Multiverse.
Oh.
And it's narrated by Bruce. And it's really good. It's really, you see a lot of Sam, his style, his technique, everything. You see, they try to justify why they did what they did, but I don't agree with it. But anyway.
With making her a villain again?
Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, they shouldn't have done that.
No, they did say for the record, no, she's not dead, which makes sense because.
I mean, they could have easily had a new villain and her and Doctor Strange team up.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the going back and thinking about it, I think the issue with that film is it makes Strange seem out of place and weak the entire time.
Yeah,
he's always not in control. And it was really interesting going back and then watching Endgame again when he really was on the top of his game. Thanos just happened to have all the stones, so he's a little bit more powerful. But he was doing all the magic and stuff and the multi-Doctor Stranges and the whole, shields and everything. He's really good. And then you get him in the second movie and he's like, I've got to protect this girl and I don't know what's going on and what multiverse are we in?
But they also set up in Endgame that Wanda is more powerful than Thanos.
Oh yeah, than anyone.
So
She is
that's
the most
why
powerful.
he's weak in that movie, because she's the
Again,
villain.
yes, agreed. And
Yeah.
like you said, a different villain would have been better. Even if it had been Kang, and it's one of the Kang entities, and they defeated him, one of his universes or whatever.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what they do with it. I'm not invested in it all. I mean, I want to be, but I mean, this is why I fell out of comic books. It's because it was overwhelming. There's too much stuff.
Yeah.
And I mean, I can stick with Avengers because I like them the most. But I never was a big Defenders fan. I'm a Daredevil fan just because I like that show. But I was never a big Defenders fan. And I think she was eventually a Defender. I'm pretty sure she was. But I can't even remember who the original Defenders were. Now, I would really be into it if they did an Invaders reboot, which is basically superheroes during World War II. And it was Captain America, Human Torch, and Submariner. And Submariner just made an appearance in Black Panther 2.
I haven't seen that either. Wakanda Forever? No, I haven't seen that either.
I actually liked Quantum Mania better than Wakanda Forever.
Looking back at that, what do they call it? The Infinity Cycle?
Phase 1, Phase 2, Phase 3.
Yeah, but they're calling it the Infinity Cycle, which starts with essentially Captain America.
Or Iron Man, yeah.
And then it starts with Iron Man, then you have Captain America. And I was going, okay, Iron Man I really liked. Captain America I really liked. Hulk didn't like. Thor didn't like. Then they get to Avengers, written and directed by Joss Whedon. I went, okay, yeah, I can get into this. This works for me really well. And from then on, I bought into I loved it. I even watched the Thor Darkness and then Thor Ragnarok, which was good. But Black Widow wasn't, and
See, I didn't mind Black Widow.
It was okay.
Yeah.
I think it should have come out 5 years earlier. It was hard for me to watch it knowing the end.
Have you seen that thing that David Letterman did with U2? No,
I haven't.
It's great. He basically goes to Ireland, and they actually write a song for him, but they put on a show without Larry and Adam. It's just them doing new interpretations of some of their hits. And they invited, basically David walked around handing out invites in Dublin, Ireland to whoever he saw. And it's just like a very small venue. I mean, I would say there's like less than a couple thousand people there, maybe not even 1,000. Mm-hmm. And it's U2. It's like going to see U2 at a club.
At a club, yeah.
Right. And then he also goes with them to like a pub, and they're like not even treated any differently in this pub. And they're like singing local folk songs with the people that are there performing and stuff. It's amazing. It's really, really good. So
I saw a TikTok the other day. It was funny. I sent it to my daughter-in-law because she loves RuPaul's Drag Race. She's like watched every episode multiple times and loves it. But this comedian was talking about all this anti-trans and LGBTQ stuff. And he said, look at our founding fathers. And he cuts to all these images of them. They're wearing wigs. They're wearing high heels. That to me looks just like a dress. I mean, this is RuPaul Revere. Come on.
Right. I keep seeing people talk about it like YouTube shows that Dennis watches, where they start really diving deep into classic television and classic movies. And it's all over the place. I mean, Milton Berle did it regularly. Yeah. Flip Wilson, and it goes on. And then he will show clips just from series where you see someone like Gilligan walking in a wig or whatever, it's everywhere.
Mm-hmm. But Tim, that's not in front of children.
The podcast I listen to, Romaine, the female half of the two hosts, says, from now on, whenever you see a post on Facebook of a mass shooting or some tragedy like murder or whatever, she said, just repost it and in the caption write, not a drag queen. because it never is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how many drag queen murderers can you think of? None. How many drag queen people in trouble can you think of? Very few. The worst one out there is Caitlyn Jenner. She's such a fucking hypocrite and an entitled white person. And just don't even get me started.
Yeah.
Don't even get me started. And I'm wearing my gay Star Trek shirt. I got my little.
Look at you.
I'm a red shirt, though. I'll get killed.
Okay.
I'm talking about just in general. Like I watched Fellow Travelers. Have you heard or seen that?
No. Is that a series? Oh, that's the gay series.
It's a limited series on Paramount via Showtime. It's like I can't tell Paramount and Showtime apart anymore. So
You just went away vocally. Hold on. Stop. I
Uh-oh.
don't know why.
I can't help with that, but you can change it in settings.
That's what I just said, honey. I'm just changing it right now.
That happens all the time. We'll be watching TV and Dennis will say something, and all of a sudden, music will start playing in the kitchen. And it's like, the other day he said something about, I don't know. We watched that Willie Nelson series too, that's on Paramount. It's like a 4-part documentary. And he said something about the Grammys or something, and all of a sudden music started playing in our kitchen.
Grammy hits 1912.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Like 1978 or whatever. But no, that Fellow Traveler show was awesome. I was blown away by it. And I just started it by accident. It's got Matt Bomer in it. And it's like, I don't want to, it's definitely a love story, but it's not like a romance. If I had to compare it to anything, you're going to laugh, but yeah.
Okay.
Because it takes place, hell, I can't get it takes place in the McCarthy era. That's where it starts. And it's these two closeted guys that work for the government during all the witch hunts of Washington. So like the first 4 episodes or the first half of the season is that. And it's just jaw-dropping in places because of some of the shit that was going on and the fact that Roy Cohn was closeted and that potentially McCarthy was closeted. They allude to that as well. But then all of a sudden when that's over, they go through the 60s and into the 70s and into the AIDS crisis. And it's like everything is like a different point in history per episode after the McCarthy stuff. Mm-hmm. And I mean, Matt Bomer is fantastic, but there's another guy in there. His name is Jonathan Bailey. Have you ever heard of him?
No.
He's a British actor, and he's the other half, and he just blew me away. And I looked him up, and he was in the Shakespearean company when he was like a kid and stuff. That's like no wonder.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I would recommend it. I mean, yeah, it's got gay stuff in it, but it's great. Just for the history. And I hope it gets nominated for Emmys, but it didn't come out until like December or January. So it's not going to be this year's Emmys. I guess it would be the following years or something.
Yeah. Probably in 25.
Yeah. But yeah, it blew me away. The Willie Nelson thing was pretty good too. I had forgotten some stuff about him, like all the $32 million in back taxes and stuff.
Back taxes, yeah.
Yeah, I had completely forgotten about that. But I mean, he put out so many albums. He's like Stephen King. He just puts albums out constantly.
Have you seen the movie Spirited? I think it came out last year. We watched that because we were looking for a Christmas movie that was new that nobody had seen, which is hard to do. That's not on frickin' Lifetime.
Yeah, those are terrible.
Those are terrible. And so this was Spirited. It starred Will Ferrell and Ryan Reynolds. And it's pretty good. I was really impressed. You should give it a watch if you're in a post-Christmas mood. It's basically a different version of Christmas Carol. Very different, but very inspired by. So To put it bluntly, it's Christmas Carol from the ghost's point of view, but modern day. So it's interesting. It's interesting concept, very interesting with the way they did it, the format they chose, and everything. So I'd be curious to see what you think if you watch it ever.
I was
Spirit.
gonna watch that Eddie Murphy one, but I didn't.
Eddie Murphy has a Christmas movie?
It's Amazon. It's brand new.
Okay.
It's called, oh shit, I can't remember the name of it now, but it was all over Amazon during the holidays.
No, I didn't
Yeah, it's
see it.
brand new Eddie Murphy Christmas movie.
Okay.
Something about
try it.
shine or something. I can't remember.
The Shining? Yeah, that's an
Yeah,
Eddie
that's
Murphy
it.
movie.
It had an appearance of Jack Torrance and Shelley Duvall. What is the name of that? It was called Candy Cane Lane.
That has nothing to do with Shining.
No, it doesn't. But it had to do with candy, which is sometimes shiny.
Which is sometimes shiny, depending on how it's done.
And then I watched a handful of horror, a lot of old stuff. But I watched one that Mike Flanagan's raving about called Possum. I'll
Awesome.
probably do it as a genre week.
Really? Okay.
It's British. It came out in 2019, and he said it was the most disturbing film he'd probably ever seen. And it has a lot of disturbing imagery, and I know that's why he likes it. But it's one of those that almost goes so far artsy, it's pretentious, and it gets a little boring. It's a slog.
Okay.
But there are some things in there that you cannot unsee.
Okay.
It's about a guy that has he carries around this bag with a puppet in it. He's like a puppeteer, but the puppet
it's
is a
already
giant.
not good.
Well, it's a giant spider with a human head.
No, hell, damn no.
It looks like kind of like a clown head, like a ghost clown head. So you've got a clown and a giant spider there for you.
Yeah, I am not watching this. No.
I forgot that's like two of your big ones, right?
Man, why would you put those together?
I tell you what, man, the guy is talented, and his locations are amazing, because I've never seen such haunting and desolate locations just one after the other. It's like there's nothing in this movie that looks real. It reminded me at times of Eraserhead. I was like, this is like David Lynch. This is just out there. It's a little bit more palatable than Eraserhead, though. And there's
less trying to be artsy, I guess.
Yeah, and one of the actors in it, we know he was in Sleepy Hollow, and he just died. Alan Armstrong, is that it?
I don't know.
Yeah, Alan Armstrong. He played like the magistrate or something in Sleepy Hollow. He's just one of those old British actors. And I was watching, I guess it was maybe the New Year's Eve thing where they show the in memoriam, and I didn't realize, but he had died this year. And it stars a guy named Sean Harris. I mean, it's basically just them two. There's no one else. He's like an uncle, and the other guy is the puppeteer that has the giant spider. And he keeps trying to get rid of it, and it keeps coming back.
Of course it does. It's a
like
spider.
he will throw it out into some water and sink it. And then he goes home and gets in his bed, and when he wakes up, it's right there in front of him.
Yeah, screw that. That would be some no on that.
Maybe I should put this on the list.
Boy, I'd be struggling to do that. That would be interesting.
If it wasn't such a slog, I mean, it needed a little bit more than just what it was. I don't know. But Mike Flanagan also likes a lot of movies on his letterbox list that I don't care for either. So it's not like he's perfect. So
yeah, no. Oh.
What's going on? Anything?
No.
Yes.
It's dogs.
I watched another 2 episodes of Gen V.
Okay.
It's great. I mean, I like it. I enjoy it. It even though it's mostly people I've never seen before and anything.
I still haven't finished the third season, let alone the fourth season.
Well, that's
So-
not there's only 3 seasons
I thought there were 4.
of Boys.
Yeah.
Are there?
I thought there were 4.
I think the 4th one is what's next, isn't it?
I don't know. The last episode I saw was with the little bitty shrinky guy.
That was
Who
the
goes-
first of episode or first of season 3, I'm pretty sure.
Season 3. Yeah.
Yeah, the 4th season has not aired yet, but they have titles. Some of them have titles.
Okay.
So it's coming. Yeah, they do the opposite in the opening of Gen V. Instead of having a gay guy shrink down and go inside another guy's anus, they have, I know, don't you love that word?
It's just the concept. It's
I
not
know.
just the word. It's the concept of what? Why
Yeah.
would you do? I don't understand.
Well, in this one, there is a girl, and she can shrink too. And the guy is having sex with her and says, "Why don't you shrink and just like hang on to my dick?" So she does, and they show it. It's crazy. She's like slapping his nutsack like a pony.
Okay,
And I mean,
then.
I'm like, are they really showing a giant dick on my TV? And for a minute, I thought it was going to ejaculate. I was like, holy shit. But it didn't. This is
Oh,
a
it
great
could have.
conversation for some outtakes.
It could have on The Boys. I mean, it really could have.
Well, no, I mean, it could have on this because they're just as graphic on this. I thought, oh my God, she's going to drown in splooge. And
There you go.
oh, it's such a lovely conversation for a Wednesday morning.
Yes,
Or
it
Thursday
is.
morning. I like it. The thing that we saw when we were watching the previews, when you did that Coming to Get You, was the girl that can do things with her blood. She is like the main character, I would say. Her name is
Mm.
Marie Moreau or something like that.
Okay.
She's great.
Okay.
So,
I'll have to check it out. It'll be on my list for like a year and a half.
okay. Well, I
'Cause I
could
still
add
have
to
to-
your list.
I still have to finish. I've never seen Andor. I still have to finish Obi-Wan because they just announced Obi-Wan season 2. I don't see how that's even possible, but they did.
Great.
And finish season 3, then watch V. I've got
See,
a
you
lot
shouldn't have watched
catch up.
Strange New Worlds.
Well, yeah. Yeah, there's part of me that regrets it, I must admit.
You can't start the car. Johnny has the keys.